Quiet on set. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Let's Poddy podcast with your host, Benji Weatherly. It's the podcast where you learn absolutely nothing.
All right, you guys ready?
All right. I know how I want to start this off.
Yeah, Mike, you kick it off.
Okay, is it going to be the arm wrestling one? The start?
No,
He's always into that.
I could arm wrestle
Over the top?
Shelby, honestly.
You could win.
I don't think, I have a lot of questions. Benji, I'm sure
Okay,
you
we
got to
put your phone on vibrate. He gets blown up all day long.
Where am I supposed to be in terms of
Yeah.
I'm going to start my phone. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go in hot.
Come in hot.
That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I can't wait. Hey, just so you know, you never want to be successful in life because you'll have people working in your house 24/7. You'll never be alone. Actually, that's probably good if you're really famous.
It's true.
You have people
my
around all the time.
My girlfriend roasts me all the time because, as you've seen, Benji, this is compound living, right?
Yeah, listen.
Let
me shut the front door.
Yeah. As you can hear, it's a property and it has to be maintained properly. Otherwise, it's all going to go to shit.
No, I totally agree. So they're here every day,
and then you're not going to want to visit me, Benji.
No, if you had tall grass, I would never come over.
You'd be
Small
like,
hands,
Mike,
my cabbage.
it was cool last time I was here, but
it's
maintenance is really falling off. And
exactly.
I just don't feel like the maintenance needs are being, dealt with.
Yeah.
I'm out.
He's like, I can do a podcast from 10:05 to 10:08 before everything starts to go sideways.
It's live. It's going on.
They're doing a good job out there. It's beautiful.
All right, but this is how I want to start today's podcast. So it was my birthday this last week, as you know, because I invited you.
Oh, that's right.
But
no,
you were
tagged you
in
on
Colorado or something,
Okay.
doing something fabulous. Like, you're probably with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, I was on a drive-through. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So I had an excuse. It's an alibi. Not a good one, but...
Right. Okay, well, probably a lot of big actors were there, sure.
It was a classic whodunit.
Kristen
Still a
Stewart.
good movie of the
Kristen
summer.
Stewart was there. Bill Murray. I'm
Yeah.
sure a lot of people.
Billy.
Were there. So I was having a birthday. Now, I invited your old-time friend and colleague, Kelly Slater, along with Kalani.
Oh, nice.
Right? Now, the response I get, Kelly was the very first person to RSVP for the party. But you know how he RSVPs? He gives me a heart emoji. Because obviously he's on his phone all the time,
That
so
means,
he gives me the heart emoji. Which, what the fuck does that mean?
Because you can't type anything.
We're
That's a little tap.
We're
Just a little
grown-ass
tap.
people. So,
Yeah.
why can't... What does the emoji mean? Okay.
He's getting to a point where he doesn't even have to touch his phone. He's just like, I don't even care.
Yeah,
And just,
right. So
the emoji.
that's issue number one. Issue number two, then, this is what Kalani texts me. Liddy. She can't even say... She makes lit even longer. Like, trying to Aussie it. Like, Liddy, I'll be home. See you then, boss. Like, I don't even know. What home? Is that Hawaii?
Yeah.
What,
And they had no intentions of being there either, right?
No, yeah.
Just
So what does it
ghosted you
mean?
after that?
Yeah.
We were all there. We showed up.
Yeah. Well, you live in his house.
We're
You're best friends.
5
But them
minutes away,
saying
but-
that is almost kind of insulting because you're like, I know you're going to be in Jamaica. Don't kid me. You're on a plane right now to like Haiti. You're not coming. And he's like, heart emoji. RSVP.
I love the heart emoji.
Save me a seat. You know how he always does that? Where like people like get stuff organized for him and then
the
he's just like,
dinner.
oh, sorry, I'm not going to be there. I'm in Haiti. Like, damn it. Well, that's nice. Well, I would have been there if I wasn't
So
super
I just wanted
busy.
I wanted a translation, though, of the heart emoji and of Liddy.
Can you believe he came to 2 different coast drive-through moments?
I actually can believe that.
That's unbelievable,
Yeah.
though. It's
That's
like seeing
when he shines.
a white owl twice in 2 weeks. It really is. When I say white owl, I mean white package and a white wetsuit.
But you'll have to tell that story to the podcast folks because I don't think they
Yeah,
understand what you're talking about.
let's
But we'll
rewind
get
it.
back there.
As
We'll get
a
there.
Kelly
fellow-
wears white wetsuits and you can see his wiener. Okay. That's the story. No, but we love you, Kelly. Just watch that thing.
Now I
I'm
want to
introduced.
address the next elephant in the room, and I don't mean that.
Wait,
as
am I hosting this? No, just kidding.
No.
I love this. Take it over.
Shelby Meade.
She's more important to the people that I know that are successful than anybody in their lives. She's been BFFs for 20-something years, probably, with
More.
Michael.
Mike, calling me by my full name
Michael.
now.
And I'm going to tell a story really quick about Michael.
It's getting rough. And
No, this
real
is
right
going to
now.
blow your mind. Okay, one day in my life, this happened. Two things. I go golfing with Kelly at Sherwood. It's this country club that's really, highbrow. Is that a brow? Highbrow. And I go to the gate and he goes, hey, we're playing with Kenny G. And I'm like, cool. I get up to the gate. He goes, what name are you under? I'm all, Kenny G. And the guy goes, do you have his last name? And I'm all, and when I did the like that, the guy goes, oh, he looked at me like, I can't believe I'm doing this. And he pushed the gate, right? And I went in like, oh, it worked. Woo. Where'd I?
Yeah.
So hours later after we're done golfing, I meet him and a bunch of people at Soho Beach Club. Remember the beach place where we had breakfast? Yeah. And I go up to the front and I'm like, I'm with, and she goes, name? And I go, Mike D. And she goes, D? And I go, I don't know his last name. I just know it's the Dizzle or whatever. So I go and I call him in the parking lot. I'm like, it's going to sound weird, Michael, but F is the D. And he's like, Diamond. And I almost dropped the mic. I was like, ah! And I went up to her and I'm all, Diamond! And she's like, all right, go ahead, eat all the waffles you want or whatever. But those in one day in Hollywood or wherever we are, LA, I got through with G and then Diamonds. So that's how I found out your last name is Diamond, which I found out is a very common name in your guys' New York area.
Amongst the Jewish
New York community because
people
they have all the money. It's
Jewish origins, part of the conspiracy.
It's part of the conspiracy. But yeah, cool story because Shelby is actually a big influence over Kelly's career. Shaun White, both from the action sport, but then she does a bunch of musicians. She did Ben Harper.
And who were you invoking earlier when you saw Skylar
Jack
Diamond?
Johnson. That's
Jack
what we got from
Johnson.
this. All right, look at shaking. But yeah, just an amazing human being that has so much insight to this young man and a lot of other people that I've been lucky enough to know through Shelby.
That's very sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you, Benji.
So,
I also married you.
I know, but that didn't work out, so shut up.
That's right. And Benji is the father of my older son, Davis.
That's right, I'm the father.
Not biologically.
That's right.
That was so amazing.
It was because when he was on the Segway when I met him, we locked eyes. It was on. I was all right at him. I'm like, and since then we cannot stop, finishing each other's sentences. But it was really neat to see your kids. One was getting jacked, Johnson, in there working out, and the other one was in there spinning records and doing all kinds of cool stuff with music. Making music, as they say in the room with me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
Spinning,
anyway,
just so you know, for future reference, but spinning is a record that's already been made. Making is.
so that's why you're here.
Making.
That's what I'm talking about. We'll go. I'm going to get into all that stuff, but I want to start with this. This is so important to me. I ask questions based on what I care about. I don't care about questions that other people care about. How'd you get into surfing? How did that ever come about?
All right.
I
know. How did I get into surfing?
Yeah, what year? First, what year was it? And then was it because you moved to LA area, or what was it?
Yeah. I grew up in New York City, and then I don't have many regrets in life.
No,
I'm going to be upfront about that. I'm very lucky. I'm very grateful. Like I don't have that many. But one of the regrets I do have is that, like, why didn't I should have been surfing. I was going to school in Brooklyn, and I could have easily gone out to Rockaway to surf, but none of us knew that then. Like we were, looking at pictures of like Steve Olson skateboarding and like Christian Hosoi skateboarding, but we didn't like kind of put it, like why didn't we make the connection of like,
because it wasn't a hero surfer guy from New York at the time, right? There wasn't Christian Hosoi that
aside
surfed.
from Pat Conlon, I don't think
there
was anybody.
Mark Pearson surfed. That was the only guy I knew.
Yeah, but not then. He wasn't really going out. He wasn't. When we were in high school, Mark wasn't going out to Rockaway. Yeah. Like it just wasn't. Yeah, you're right. There was no cool
surfer guy that drew you
East
in. Yeah.
Coast surf figure that I knew of at the time. Yeah. Now I'm gonna have lots of friends who are gonna blow me up. But Danny, tomorrow I hear you be like, "What the fuck? Jersey was rocking. All these like amazing surfers in Long Branch. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about." And that's probably legit. But
or that might be the reason you didn't want to surf.
Or they were never in a magazine. You never saw them in a surf. Yeah. They don't exist. But yeah.
But this is the late 70s, early 80s when you're a little tteenager.
Oh, add some years to me.
Well,
right?
I'm trying to figure out when the surfing.
No. I just feel like early 80s. I could have been like gotten my ass on a subway and gone to
Far Rockaway.
And
that's what I did on accident.
Surfing like a handful of days, whatever. Mm-hmm. Not that those jetties are good that often. Anyway. That's when I should have started to learn. But then I didn't start. I very first learned we were on tour, and we were in Australia. And I forget even why, but for some reason we were like doing some shows, but we had this idea that it was going to be a really good idea to rent a house like up in the northern beaches, like outside of Sydney. It's kind of basically like the Malibu of
Avoca, like Wales Beach.
Sydney. Yeah, by Palm Beach. Like we were right, like Palm Beach,
beautiful
whatever.
down there too.
So there were all these people, and it's like being out here. It's kind of like a surf-dominated culture. So I was like, I should learn this. Try to start learn.
So that's the first time you tried it. Was Australia.
Yeah, and I just tried it, and then like kind of like filed it away. Like it didn't become like a passion or anything. But then we started when we had kids. The aforementioned Davis and Skylar Diamond. Davis was like he was like one of those weird kids that was like oddly ocean obsessed from birth, pretty much. And so we started like going out here to the beach with them, to our unnamed community here on the west coast of Los Angeles.
Down by the river.
And then we ended up kind of like, I was like, well, I'm like from New York, and I'm like, why are we living in Hollywood? Like Hollywood's such a freaking weird place anyway. Like instead of like living in Hollywood, why don't we try living at the beach for a while? That seems like maybe I'd be a little less crazy and neurotic, like if I lived by the beach. So then we started living out here more, and I was like, all right, I should really learn this whole surfing
and how
stuff. And that was before, like now it's normal. Like you move, someone of, Benji, my stature, you have the gardeners and everything. You also have an in-house on-staff surf coach. That's what, at least that's what's done here in this community.
Right? A golf cart given to you?
But, in those days there was no, the surf, that didn't come.
The Gerlax and stuff
didn't exist yet? So you had...
It was just starting, maybe. But...
And then that would have been when Davis was just a little guy, huh?
Little guy. And then I also just kind of like honestly saw like, well, like my kids are going to do this surfing stuff all the time. So if I want to hang out with them, I better at least, I don't know that I surf well, but at least be able to do this and not drown.
Yeah, and then fast forward to, I would say that's 6 years ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I surfed Waimea Bay. One of the most, iconic surf breaks in the world. And to people from California, it's like, Waimea Bay. But I got to surf the only time I think I've ever paddled out, other than over by Talk's house. But we surfed Waimea with you. And it was like 5-10 feet. I don't know. There was some solid waves, but it was pretty cool that was the session we had at Waimea. That was almost like a Southern California book moment, like on the coffee table, like our photos, Waimea Bay, the whole thing.
No, somewhere I have like on my phone, I have like Brian Beelman. I have like Brian Beelman has some great shots of Davis of like on some like kind of like legit small Waimea waves.
So the paparazzi did kill Diana though,
yeah.
Okay. Tell me, Shelby, about the time where you guys used to do bets in New York, because you were Sex in the City before Sex in the City, is what I've heard. You guys had your own little clique.
Yeah.
Girls
and
stuff.
You and Justine. And who's the
Sherry,
other? What was her name?
Wendy Giles.
What happened to that lady?
She's up Northern Cal.
Is it okay to say lady, or is that do I get canceled for saying lady?
But they were all mermaids. Remember how we were in the mermaid parade?
Right, okay.
On the hood of a Cadillac.
See, that's what I'm saying. You can actually really dive into that. But I heard a rumor that you used to do bets at the end of the night to see who could make out with guys or something.
And
No, this is great.
These were $5 bets.
$5. But I heard one time.
Wait, and was it like a tip jar?
I did get a check.
She got a check for making out with a guy.
Yeah.
And how much was that?
$5.
Okay, a $5 check.
But it's $5, so it's not like each.
So
not each
in the given moment
that each of you is esteemed women would put in a $5.
No,
it was
we
a $5
would get paid $5.
total.
So all the mermaids in the morning had to send you
guys
cash.
were cheap.
That was before Venmo and COVID.
Yeah, before Venmo and COVID. You would have to send the money.
You'd have to give me $100 now with COVID. Or $5.
But I did accept a check once.
All right. I want to stay in this thread for a second. Who is the worst person that you ever had to make out with in this, just not in life, period, but in
There wasn't worse, but
process.
Sherry Howell, we made some guy and his girlfriend was there, and she did not appreciate it. Like, he went with it. And then
wow,
the
that's
girlfriend
awesome.
was in the bar, and then we kind of all had to exit quickly. But like you,
Awesome
Did he
shit.
give the
So
money?
something like shit went down, as
exactly.
Ice-T would say.
Like it didn't.
You're trying to break
Nothing was the
people up.
worst. They were always cute, so it's like you got to pick.
Yeah. So are we allowed to talk about real stuff? Or?
Yeah.
Nah,
Go.
okay.
Go.
Let's talk about the.
But I want to know about more homework, Benji.
Yeah,
You
who else
did.
did you
You know,
call?
I'm
Oh,
impressed.
I'd have to-
And as well, actually, before we talk about more, I wanted to say I'm impressed. I didn't even know.
I didn't even
I
know
mean,
did
in a
homework.
sense, you could
I
kind
called
of,
it like 3
and I
people.
mean this in all due respect, Shelby, because you're an old friend of mine, but Shelby's a bit of a hoe.
Little
Now,
hoe.
wait, am I going to get canceled
No,
for
you're not
saying
gonna
that?
get canceled, but,
Because,
like-
I mean, but we have established, or Benji has, that there was money,
Slight hoery.
you know,
going on,
like
yeah.
money paid, involved, you know, makeouts for money, so that
Yeah.
does sort of taint.
Yeah, this was supposed to be
this
for children.
romantic.
And now, there's none of it. It's like completely canceled. Everything's done. Yeah. So, what do you do on off days, Mike? Do you like to play music, or your kids took over and now you just?
My
make
kids
coffee?
kicked me out. They've taken over all my gear.
They write all your words.
And no, I still have to help Davis write lyrics.
Oh, that's cool.
But then Skylar cooks me dinner. So I feel like it's kind of like balance. You know, I do get compensated
Right.
that
How do
way.
they credit you on albums? Like,
So
what are they going to call
I don't
you?
know. I get actually to Davis's credit, he tries to be more. I tell him to cut back. Like he'll go through the writers' splits with me on stuff, and I'm like, and he's actually very straight. They're good kids. They're very honest.
They're
I'm gonna
like-
play
Yeah.
Davis's latest song right now. And it's actually both, right? They
Yeah,
both-
it's
Both of
Davis
them.
and Skylar.
Yeah, and
Under the name Very Nice Person.
this. Listen, this is his music. Play sounds like.
When the sun explodes. Who's singing? That's you?
I think that might be the funniest thing ever. Is
Yeah.
that you?
Yeah, they need to add your voiceover into the song.
That is incredible. It's insane. It's just so neat.
It's pretty cool because it's not
different.
like anything else
Yeah.
out there. They've created their own
It's because they eat
style.
raw vegetables from farmers market and drink
cacao.
lactose intolerant coffees from their Papa Bear. And
They-
he's been
No,
playing
they're
with
actually
himself
big.
for so long in
Davis
music.
is very pro lactose, actually.
No, but
He's
it's
pro,
It,
just to be
so
clear.
did you force them to play music? I was wondering because you know how there's soccer dads. Do you have like music dads where they're like they force you to get into music?
No,
Like,
I'm
you're
really-
gonna do the drums and I don't care. You're not coming out of your room until you're done.
No, you know, it's actually interesting. Is I definitely wouldn't. I mean, who would push? I would never push them towards the whole music thing. Let's be real, guys.
Did you spin?
Music's
Did you
kind
spin?
of a
Yeah,
shit show.
you're spinning records in their crib and they're like, Dad.
No, but I mean, they have grown up. I will be a little ego led and say they have grown up
Around music.
around listening to, I think, most times pretty cool music because their dad DJs in the car, and
can I
and
tell
they've grown up around a lot of
I
high-achieving
don't mean to
musicians.
toot your horn, but he DJ'd one night on New Year's at my restaurant with, I think this.
just as
Just his phone, and it was
I
best.
think it was a phone.
It was a
It
phone
was
and like a
incredible.
speaker. Did you have a speaker?
No, we had real speakers. We
No,
had a real
there was
sound
like
system.
kind of
Yeah,
a
but
PA.
like, you were,
Permanent ones.
like he's like an AV club whiz. Like he
No.
figured it out. But
And
yeah.
he played all the '90s hip hop that I actually like, and it was so good. Every song I was like looking at you like, yes, keep them coming, keep them
Wasn't
coming.
that like a Moo Aloha shirt
Yeah.
party too? So
Yeah,
everyone
yeah.
looked fantastic.
Yeah, it was an
Oh,
awesome
yeah,
time.
I
and
forgot about that. Was a fun night.
It was
DJ
Lima's birthday.
It was Lima's birthday, but it was
Oh,
New
yeah,
Year's.
that's
We're
right.
celebrating the New Year.
Yeah.
But
No,
Lima
because it's
loved
funny
it.
because that's what came to my mind is that I kept remembering like Olivia kept being like, no, you have to play. Like it
She
was
wanted,
like
like,
she was like
booty something.
assaulting the DJ. Like she was
Got
just
back
like,
away from the DJ booth.
Yeah.
And it was just you standing there.
yeah. I needed security to keep
From
her.
Lima.
I actually have
Okay.
an amazing photo of the two of you in your
I
Aloha
love
shirts
that photo.
sitting
Yeah.
there.
I put
with
it on
the-
my Instagram. It's
Yeah.
so cute.
Anyway, so yeah, no, I wasn't a musician dad, and Davis, interestingly, like you were asking him about it in the studio, he started to learn how to make records. They were going to school in Bali, and
That's a cool thing to put
and
on
then
your
they
resume.
and then he had like this weird this math teacher, and he didn't really get along with the math teacher, but the math teacher then was like, oh, you should learn that. I should show you how to use Ableton, and he taught him how to use Ableton, which is a music recording and making software. And They did that, and then he just kind of like went down this rabbit hole, like
That's
really
what's got him to where
doing
he's at now.
doing that, just like just kind of like surfing and then doing that. And then I remember then they were with me. We were at a friend's 50th birthday. The legendary David Sokolin, aka Dave Matterhorn. We were in Santa Teresa,
Which I'm
Costa
surprised he's
Rica.
not here walking into the podcast at some moment.
And so, like my kids have kind of grown up in like my weird adult world their whole lives. And then so Davis would just like sit there and be on his laptop making music all the time. And then another friend of mine who I've worked on a lot of records with, the esteemed co-producer Jason Later, has worked with me and Rick Rubin on a lot of records. Jason like hears it and he's like, no, this is really good. Like when we get back, like I'm going to help him like finish stuff up and like make this into something. And then it took a while, but they did it.
We're literally
and
talking about you.
Here he
Come
is.
in.
Right
Jump
on
over
cue.
here.
Come
I
over
want to
here.
show
But
this.
we're just talking.
This is
Benji
the
was
oldest.
asking if I was like a rapper dad, like if I like
like a
how
soccer
there's
mom.
how
And
there's
then,
like soccer
forced you to-
dads, like
No, he didn't force us, but like he's still now that like we do it, he's a stage dad. Like
Yeah. Oh, really? He's like, go to your room and get that G over the C minor. Let's go.
Yeah.
Don't come out until it's perfect.
I make you jog while you sing at the same time for miles and miles, right?
yeah, that's exactly what.
Yeah.
His singing coaches wake you up in the morning. You're like, I can hit the high ones. You do hit the high ones, man. We just played one of your songs just now. It's so
Oh,
cool.
sick.
What was the craziest thing you had to deal with when you worked for Mike D? Was there anything where he's like, I don't have my fruit bowl and I hate lamb. I mean, what
no,
was
he's
it?
not when he's hangry, when he needs food, you give him food.
Yeah,
Like
I
that's
do
the
get-
only thing.
yeah.
Everything else is smooth sailing, everything's easy, but if he
Airports
needs
are pretty happy.
if he needs how good am I in an airport?
You're pretty good in the airport.
Yeah. Yeah, I've traveled solo with the boys and I'm
Be
like,
humble though, a little bit.
well, I
don't
do
want people to
I'm
think you're
pretty good
cocky.
in an airport.
I'm the best airport person in the world. Actually, Donovan is, and there's no doubt.
Who
Donovan,
got you
how
through
about
the VIP
Donovan
line?
Frank-
No,
Don- Donovan
got us,
Frankenreiter?
you guys, all of our surfboard bags, every airport we went to, FOC, free of charge. Nothing. Thousands of dollars of oversized. And he would get up there and just start playing guitar, and his mustache was like this. And he's like, I'm 100,000 K. Ha ha ha. These guys are with me. And we're 15 of us just like, I don't know. And he would be making the guys laugh, playing guitar, doing all these robot moves and everything. At the very end, he's like, these aren't the droids you're looking for. And we'd walk right by. And the guy was like, have a nice day. High five. And then we'd walk.
Amazing.
Every airport, though. Every time I'm like, this is going to be the worst
But
experience
that's the
because
same
we're
thing
so
with
lucky.
Kelly too. He can walk up and be
But
the
Kelly wouldn't
flight's
help
taking
anybody
off.
else.
No, but the
Yeah,
flight's
that's
taking
true.
off and they
No,
still
Kelly.
get on it.
Kelly is so not about a drive-through crew. He'd get there and be like, I'm a million K, and he'd look at us and be like, I don't know them. And you're like, you have the same tracksuit on. We're like, we know you, Kelly. And he's like, I don't know them. Let them out of my hair. I don't know them. I know the plane's taking off in 30 seconds. I just got here. Let's go. Ugh, we've had so many times. I can't even start with Kelly Slater. We had this one trip. I'm going to do it. We went to the Micronesia P-Pass, and it was Andy Irons, a bunch of people on the same flight. And Andy and everyone sitting on the plane. We have a little bit of a delay, you know, the whole thing. And all of a sudden, Andy Irons and the crew, when they get there, tell me a story. They look out the window of the plane, and they see Kelly down at the baggage thing with all the baggage people taking a photo. And they're like, what the actual fuck is going on right now? And they were held the whole plane up to get a photo because he was so late that they're like, you can't make the flight. And he goes, but if you get a photo with the crew, we'll do it. The guy gets a freaking photo out on the runway tarmac before he gets on the plane with all the crew. And Andy and all the other guys are just sitting there going, this is why we're delayed. Like, they couldn't believe it. Kelly gets on the plane. Everyone's like, boo you. Boo you. You know what time this plane was. And it was just like such a classic thing because Andy was my roommate on that trip. And he's like, yeah, that son of a bleep, you know. It's pretty funny. That's Kelly in a nutshell, though, right? But you went in kind of hot and heavy in a culture and an environment that was just like, it must have been incredibly weird and just revealing. And how'd you do it?
Well, I think first off, the first part is we just did it like it literally everybody else. Like we just from the very first moment we heard rap music in New York City, like we were punk rock kids, and we didn't want to listen to things that anybody else at school was going to maybe listen to, right?
And then your music.
Right, so it had to always be different. But then the second we heard rap music, it was exponential, right? Because it was so much more exciting, and it was truly revolutionary.
that?
Like
What
punk
rap
rock,
is
everything
that?
else was like different, but rap was like it literally just changed the entire format. It changed who was delivering it, what they were saying, how they were saying it. Like everything got changed. So like right away, that seemed the most exciting thing to us. So then cut to the next thing we did, and like it was like both Adam Yauch, Adam Horvitz, myself, even Kate Schellenbach, who was our first drummer. We would just any rap music tape or record or whatever we'd get, we would just like every other like idiot kid, we would just memorize every word and just rap along with it. And just we could
What's
just
that first
say,
dance? Who's the first rapper? Sorry.
well, it depends. Like for Adam Horvitz, it did he was really good as Jimmy Spicer, like who had this. Jimmy Spicer Adam would do Jimmy Spicer. Adam Yauch, MCA, was great. He did Spoonie G, who was like this early MC. He had like his biggest records were like Super Rappin' and The Godfather. Anyway, Yauch could do all his who's. I was kind of like obsessed with Treacherous 3, and I kind of could do all three of their parts. I was the utility guy. But anyway, you just like memorize all the records. And then the other thing is that we came from this world in New York City where like there's all this stuff, like this incredible rap music that was happening originally like at Harlem World, Uptown, and Disco Fever in the Bronx, whatever. Like all of a sudden at these clubs we'd go to downtown, all of these groups like Africa Bambaataa would come down and DJ, Jazzy J would come down and DJ, Treacherous 3 would come down and perform, Funky 4 plus one more would come down and perform. So we would go and we'd get to go see everybody play and perform. So I guess it's that thing of like, we honestly, I think we're just stupid enough that we were just like, yeah, it didn't seem like we couldn't do it. It just was like, all right, we've already memorized, like we figured out how to copy these records, and now we're going to like see all these guys like play every week. Like we can do this.
What about what punk
And we,
bands?
and like most things, we sucked at first. Like
What was
we
the
were
punk
terrible.
bands that you were listening to back then? Clash, stuff like that?
At first, it was like the Clash and the Slits and X-Ray Specs, and then like all the hardcore stuff. Like we love like Black Flag, Circle Jerks, Minor Threat, SOA, like bad brains, of course. Like that.
Did you guys ever play at the CBGB? Was that
Yeah,
still
we
around?
played. We would do like those hardcore matinees all the time. Like when we were, starting
And you're a teenager,
out
right?
as like. Yeah, I was younger than these guys are now. I was like 15 and 16, and I had a shaved head and boots and whatever.
That's really weird that I was at 14. My mom took me out of school to start traveling. And now when I meet 14-year-old kids, I'm like, your parents would never let you go. I didn't have emails and cell phones. It was just like, I'll see you in 3 months.
Yeah.
3 months later, my mom would be like, are you alive? And I'd be like, on a postcard? Yep.
Yeah, you sent postcards.
I sent postcards, and my mom still has them, which is so funny to see. The scribbles and just like 6 words. I'm alive, having the best time. Love you, mama.
Right.
Pretty cool. Nowadays, it's like a 16-year-old kid. You're like, you're not going anywhere without me, kid. I need the GPS on your phone. I need to know where you're at.
Yeah. No, it definitely wasn't like. Yeah. No, exactly. I mean, look, you were running wild all around the world, going to surf locations all
Trying
over.
to kill myself in the water. What's
Yeah, and
the
we were
first
running. We
year?
were running around New York City, like
can't
coming
believe
back
that.
on the subway at 4 a.m. from
It's
whatever.
Like that, was it Warriors? The
Warriors.
Yeah.
I think about that movie when I think about.
But it
your
was
childhood.
but that is the thing. That's like more the New York City that we grew up in than the New York is today. Because it's just it's a radically different place now. First of all, like growing up in New York when I was younger than like these kids' age, like when you were like 15, 16 in New York, you
lush.
could buy liquor at like the bodega or the liquor store. Like nobody
checked.
Nobody
Oh, yeah.
card. It was just different. Now, like people ask for ID.
No,
whatever.
they just said money.
Even me now, they ask me for ID, not just to fuck with me. No, anyway.
It's the hair. You look so young.
He's very useful. There's no gray in there.
No, so anyway, you could drink whatever. And so there was, for some reason, there were like these pre-mixed drinks you could buy.
They're called White Claws.
In the deli. What are they called?
White Claws. I'm kidding. You got to do a new Beastie Boys song on the White Claw.
White Claw.
White Claw. Dun, 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 dun.
What was premix like?
It was premixed, whatever. Like
Strawberry
so,
Boom.
Brass Monkey was one of them, and one of these like premixed drinks you could buy
So it was like
in
a
the
Strawberry
store,
Booms or
and
something.
it was like, I forget. It was like some kind of like orange liqueur and brandy and like lemonade.
stuff.
You know,
sugar.
it was really sweet. It was basically all sugar. And so, like, as kids, we thought this was pretty great.
It's way catchier than Malibu rum.
Yeah.
Malibu rum. Let's go. Like, yeah, Brass Monkey, though. I've always wondered what the hell that meant. I thought it might have been something to do with drugs for some reason because I'm cool and I'm really edgy.
We weren't that cool. It was just like this drink.
Brass Monkey. That must have been heroin in the 80s in New York. You're like, no, it's Strawberry Booms.
Yeah.
It's what all the girls brought to the high school parties. Well, that's cool. Who did most of the heavy lifting on writing all that music? I be honest, I love Beastie Boys, but I know nothing about anything.
Actually, the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk, Lou Ferrigno.
He did it?
Yeah.
He did the heavy lifting?
A lot of people don't give.
While you're writing, he was lifting you
Don't
up?
give Lou the
Sweet Lou.
the props. Yeah, Sweet Lou.
Sweet
I
Lou.
mean, he put the sweet in the Lou. With he handed us these songs. He in between weightlifting sessions, he would come by and.
Oh, the beach is that way.
And he'd be like, boys, I got another real barn burner of a song for you. This one's called No Sleep Till Brooklyn. I think this is going to really do it for you.
This is going to be a big one.
Benji, I have some questions for you.
Yo,
What's up next?
you just put your hair back. I should do this.
Okay. What's up next for you? So I know you just taped Drive Through. That's going to come out
December 27th
December
on
20
Fuel, then
So basically,
YouTube
it's
and
like a
WBSL.
Christmas
It's a Christmas
present
release,
to
I
all
guess.
of us.
Yeah, and then I hope you guys, if you don't like it, don't tell me, especially on Instagram.
All the episodes, how's it going to work? Does it
gonna
weekly, or are
be-
they all going to be
I love
streaming at the same time?
So
I know this is some real technical stuff for you.
Because I have so many answers. I think the good thing is I have one of the directors and producers with us. So I think it's going to try to be 6 22-minute episodes on Fuel is what we're shooting for, and then a bunch of YouTube shorter 7-minute, 18.
Your producer
clips.
director seems very nervous with your
He's shaking his head in
answer.
both
this
ways, so I think we're
first
good.
one will be 6 little 22-minute episodes.
For Fuel.
For Fuel.
And
But then
we
you'll do the
littler
next
clips.
one
No, we'll do littler clips, like 7-minute clips, 18 of them
for the teens.
for YouTube.
For all the teens on the YouTube.
Yeah, and I really hope people I want to stay with YouTube because that's, less commercially driven corporation stuff. We could just keep it going.
Yep.
Like I want to keep the drive-through going throughout the year. Like maybe we come in, we do a day with, Mike goes surfing with us and we have Donovan up there, we play guitar, we have an episode that we can just keep releasing instead of it being just a season. So it'll be a season for a 14-day trip that we always do. But then I want to keep the drive-through channel
So they're
going.
always 14 days. It's 2
on
weeks.
every drive-through is 14 days.
2 weeks, and
And do as much as you can possible and see as much culture and try to break every bone in your body.
well, I would like you.
That's
know,
why I
but
have a rash guard on,
Are you
man.
and Donnie always on them, or it'll be?
Well, so
you,
that's what we were
or-
planning. So that's a good question. Our plan was when they wanted to bring it back was to have me and Donnie kind of like usher in the idea to these younger generation about this is how it is. But then throughout the whole thing, we realized we might have to be on these things. Like this might actually be, the kids were like, you got to be on these things because
Well,
we do.
Donnie
Well, and
driving
how-
the bus is just hilarious. It's
It's
like your
unbelievable.
crazy uncle is driving
and then
the kids
Uncle
on this
Rico
one.
is
Yeah.
back there doing fart jokes and like motivating them, talking about technique on the surfboard. Just very analytical with surfing.
Yeah, you're very analytical.
Yeah,
I know
I
that
was
about you.
basically showing them what they're doing wrong in the RV. I was like, "This is how you got to, position yourself over the board." And they're like, "What? I didn't know that." It's true though. I don't know why they were actually going, "Oh, that's really good advice." And I'm like, "Dude, you ripped. Don't worry about it. Just keep doing what you're doing."
Well, I love that. I love that you're doing this. I thought your Jake Burton's film was wonderful, and you
Such a
and that
great
was
doc.
great. So that was really nice to see. And I know you're.
Yeah,
Keep
I'd
them
like to.
coming.
I'd like to shout out Jake because we didn't talk about Jake at all, and I know he was a big part of your life.
right
And then
here,
he was
KBC.
always was really really kind to my whole band, but really because of Adam Yauk, like him and Adam had this like sweet.
wallpaper in all his bathrooms and all his houses.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I saw it
That
one time in
coolest
Long
frickin-
Beach.
Every
Yeah.
time I'm in
But,
his bathrooms, I always think of you. That sounded weird. Sorry about that. Earmuffs over there, guys. No, but every time I'm in his bathrooms, I always look at the Brooklyn and
Taking a
the Biggie
meeting.
and,
Taking a
and
meeting.
the Brooklyn Bridge.
guys, I gotta go, but this is
Every time
great.
I'm in the bathroom while I'm touching it. No, but anyway, yeah, Jake is.
No, but
he's,
shout out Jake. 'cause he was
he was everything to me. So, and he still is. That's what's great. He, I believe, is the reason why all these great things are kind of coming up in my life, and I'm going to run with it. So I'm going to get back into being creative, do this podcast that'll hopefully keep people aboard, and then just keep going with the drive-thrus and keep, maybe even one day I'll probably be the CEO of WSL.
Probably.
I think
I think that can be attained.
I just think that that's my calling, and I really want to run the surf tour. I've just been competitive my whole life, and I really
are
like,
competitive.
and I like physical.
Most people, they say Benji, they say
I like
fierce
earphones.
competitor.
I like trainers. I love coaches.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right.
I think we've got enough out of you guys to put
Covered
you in
a
jail.
lot of ground.
I think there's enough here
I
to be
do feel
canceled.
honestly like,
Yeah,
I mean, Shelby, I'm going to be honest. I wanted to get a little more. I wanted.
Well,
I wanted you or I to cry at least
That's
once,
so true.
and that
when you
didn't
said Jake
happen.
Burton, I almost pooped
I
my
know we
pants.
could have gone because I know but we all love him dearly.
I
and,
love hearing that too, because I don't bring it up much because I talk about him in every sentence,
but
and I almost think that people are tired of it.
No, we all
but
had
it
a
is
the most
relationship with him
important
over the
dude.
years, and I was thinking back to Mike talking about yes, he knew Jake, but Jake was surfing Rockaway, had the Rockaway house that we went to where he'd keep his boards, Nobody was connecting on that then, where you could be out surfing with Jake in Rockaway, all that stuff. But he was kind of a New York surfer.
Well, also in the early
'cause you guys saw the doc. How
but
cool
also
was that
in the early '90s when we were making records all the time, constantly. But anyway, early '90s we were making records, and then Yak would we'd be in the studio and we'd have full plans to be recording or whatever, and then Yak would be like, "Oh, you know what? Actually, I'm taking off. There's whatever. I've got the report." And he would take off for Utah or Alaska and whatever, and go, meet up with Nathan Fletcher and whoever, all these guys. And
Did you get
go
ever into snowboarding?
No, because Yak was already so so good at it and traveling everywhere. It was kind of Mikey and Tina Bass. It was this one house they had in Utah, so Yak would kind of go in and out. It was Sean Palmer.
Oh yeah, that is early '90s.
Mikey and Tina, and then Nathan Fletcher was a little kid. He was younger than these guys when he was living there.
That's exactly what Nathan looked like too when he was that age. Oh,
And that was kind of the crew, and Yak would bounce in and out, and Jake would meet them on trips.
Yeah, he always would drop famous people to be cool.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just kidding. He was actually the only guy in the world that appreciated music and everything more than all of us
music,
put together.
food, all that stuff.
Appreciated it
you
all.
could bump into him we'd be in Paris, and he's like, "Let's go to dinner," and it'd be Tergay and everyone.
Yeah.
You would just always have the best time wherever you were with him.
He was a topper.
Yeah.
For sure. But with that being said, you guys, I can't thank you guys enough for making me have to go to the bathroom, for one.
Sure.
And,
Well,
I'm going to go out there and help them with the lawn, and then... do you
let's
need me to
let's
clean up?
potty is the name of the
Let's
podcast.
Let's potty, okay?
We're here to potty.
But this is season 1. You guys,
We
you got to do
potty.
season 2 when I have at least 6 followers. Or
Okay.
whatever, okay?
Okay.
Like this. Followers.
Well, I mean, my influencer status, Benji. I mean, you might actually get
Couple.
another follower and a half.
Yeah.
The
after.
music fans are a little bit different, though.
But what you're
They're
not
on.
realizing here is he has his own podcast radio show where he talks about music. So maybe one day you could be on that as well.
Yeah.
Well, hey, in case you didn't notice, I'm in a band.
Yeah.
Hello. That's me. That's us. That's our song. We have it on, iTunes? Or no, my phone, actually.
How about you appear on his radio show right when Drive Thru comes out?
I would love
so
it.
promotes the.
Well, see,
drive-through.
once again, the
Promotes the-
connector of see,
That's
Shelby.
why we did this. I'm trying to get on your podcast. What's your podcast called? Just so we can plug it. You know what I mean?
The
We're plugging
Echo
it.
Chamber.
Echo Chamber?
The Echo Chamber.
So that's Scam Likely. Same
Well,
thing.
no, there's no "the" in it, just Echo Chamber, right?
Okay, there's
there?
no the in it. You're right.
Is there?
Whatever Shelby says.
Wait,
is
I was like,
correct.
wait a
You're
minute.
like, is that how you spell it? Shoot.
Echo
Too
Chamber.
late.
Well, it's
Is
not-
there an exclamation point in there? Or no.
She's
There's
like,
a hashtag. There's a,
Any emojis in Echo
Several
Chamber?
emojis.
Kelly will tell you if it's written wrong.
Oh my gosh,
He
he's such
is
the
a
grammar
habitual
police.
he's a
He is
habitual line
grammar
stepper.
police. He doesn't like it when you text more,
No,
and break up your text.
No, he's a
like-
habitual line stepper when it comes to grammar. It's like, what? I go, I was driving 2 cars.
Doesn't like it.
He's
He's
like,
like-
oh, nope, text, that's wrong. That's not how you pronounce it. You're like, God damn it.
grammar
Yeah.
police.
It's because he hasn't served a contest in a while, so he has to take it out
Oh
on
my
people.
goodness. Oh my
It's true.
Oh my
if he can't beat you at something, he's just going to start rattling about your grammar. You're like, He's like, God, are you wearing a rash guard? He's like, that is so weird. And I'm like, I know, right? And then he's wearing one. Like, God damn it, I'm going to get a white one, though.
Don't get a white one.
Yeah, so you can see my nipples? No? Okay. No. But anyway, I'm going to say thanks one last time because...
revealing white rashy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
a onesie. Just so you can see the stuff.
Guys,
right?
should you start running like
I like that
white
you went,
wetsuits now?
You guys are all going to buy white wetsuits? Don't wear a white wetsuit after you have your dad's coffee, though. Not a good thing to see. Wait till you see mine in a minute.
What?
JK. Shelby Meade.
Love you.
You're such a special person in my life, and thanks for taking the time. Michael Diamond.
Well, this was.
You could be a pro wrestler with that name, right? Michael Diamond. Or you could have been like Michael Bolton. If you did like a solo career.
Great singer.
I mean, imagine if you had your own single out and it was Michael Diamond.
Do you realize that Kenny G lives here as well?
Oh my God, should we go over there and go?
Well, it's this. It's not this. He didn't play the flute.
Oh,
he played the.
Yeah, you actually did the rock, but the guy still let you in, so it didn't matter.
And when he looked at me, he's like, I can't even believe I'm pushing the button. Like, there's no way. He goes like this, not like this. You sure it's like this? It's like this. No, it's like this.
He's a sax.
It's like
maybe because I didn't want to do this because it looks kind of sketchy.
Creepy,
I'm a Michael G. Like, I mean, Kenny. Wait, what?
Michael G.
I don't
Michael
know.
G.
Michaels around
Kenny
here.
D. How's Kenny D doing?
What's up with Kenny D? Michael
Kenny
G?
Are you gonna
Kenny
go
Diamond?
visit? While you're out here, you gonna go visit your boy Kenny D?
Well, that's the perfect send-off. I've insulted probably the best flutist of all time.
He's not a flautist.
I mean, he could be the greatest of all time, and I just made fun of it. So, Michael Diamond, I appreciate letting us in the house. The gardeners are all with their hands out there. They need some cash. And that's it. We're out. And I hope you guys don't watch this and have fun because I didn't. All right? Peace out. Woo! Thanks. Like this. All right.